Within this session, we will shortly introduce you with all 5 partners involved in this project. As you heard before, these are University of Belgrade from Serbia, University of Venezia from Italy, University of Cyprus from Cyprus, Aristotle University of Thessaloniki from Greece, and University of Seville from Spain. Next slide, please. The first presentation, we are starting with University of Belgrade, Faculty of Architecture, as leading organization in the project. My name is Jelena Ristić. I'm assistant professor at Faculty of Architecture, and I will shortly present you our institution. In the beginning, I would like to say a few words about the University of Belgrade. It is the oldest university in Serbia, and it is the largest in Southeast Europe. It includes 31 faculties, 11 research institutes, 13 university centers, university library, more than 350 study programs, and more than 100,000 students. Faculty of Architecture within the University of Belgrade is the school with a long tradition and great historical achievements, and as such, it is a leading higher institution for architecture and urban studies in Balkan region. Also, it has international high ranking as one of the Europe's top schools for architecture and design. It has more than 1,300 students, 150 teaching staff, and 30 independent researchers. Beside delivering higher education, University of Belgrade Faculty of Architecture is specialized for research and art projects, providing expertise in and consultancy in the field of architecture and urbanism, and also in publishing. It offers study programs in architecture and urbanism under the National Accreditation of Faculties Programs. A distinctive feature of study programs at the Faculty of Architecture is based on an integrated approach to education with equal emphasis on architecture, urbanism, and architectural technology in 3 distinct departments. The study programs are composed of social sciences, humanities, technical, technological, artistic, and philosophical aspects represented differently in each of the departments with the view of helping students to develop sound professional knowledge, as well as the capacity to innovatively engage the current problems in our society. Study programs at the Faculty of Architecture allow the student to come up to their own course selection, thus tailoring the education to their particular needs. All 3 departments offer a number of elective modules open to all students. The number of electives increases and diversifies over the course at the study program. We have 3 master study programs in architecture, integral urbanism, and interior architecture. Also, beside undergraduate and master studies, we have single cycle 5-year study program in architecture, as well as specialist studies and doctoral studies. I would like to emphasize that we have specialist studies in design and heritage, energy efficient and green architecture, as well as in urban renewal. Also, besides national accreditation, our study programs are also internationally recognized and validated. Validated undergraduate and master studies of the Faculty of Architecture of Belgrade are validated by Royal British Institute of Architects as RIBA Part 1 and Part 2. Also, national accreditation enabling diploma equivalent to French national diploma in architecture, thus allows professional practice and license acquisition in France. Regarding research and project, I would like to say that University of Belgrade in general has established a significant international cooperation and partnership with numerous multilateral cooperation agreements, with largest part focus on European cooperation programs such as Erasmus+, Horizon 2020, Interreg, and COST. The Faculty of Architecture has newly established Center for Research, which run projects which are aimed at the development of research capacities, addressing challenges in global and local society and international positioning of the school. Faculty of Architecture currently has running 10 international projects and 7 national fundamental technological and integrated research projects. It manages 3 of them, funded by the Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development of the Republic of Serbia. The topics of research projects are very wide and different, related to innovative concept and advanced architectural technology, green architecture concepts and urban spatial planning and smart cities, as well as housing and housing models, architecture in the function of climate change and environmental protection, as well as new technologies and new patterns in designing of structural systems. Each year, we organize different exhibitions, conferences, workshops, and other events to complement the existing study programs. As part of our conferences and lecture series, we have hosted a very large number of very competent and influential architects, artists, and lecturers of today. We are proud to welcome renewed architects, philosophers, designers, and artists who have selflessly shared their thoughts and a valuable experience with our students, but also with wider professional audience here in Belgrade. Next slide, please. This is our HERSUS team. As you can see in first row, we have a lot of senior research professors, as well as you can notice the team is also made of the significant number of young researchers. Also, the team is very heterogeneous in the terms of the expertise of the researchers, since the researchers came from all 3 departments of the faculty: Department of Architecture, Department of Urbanism, and also Department of Architectural Technologies. Professor Vladan Đokić, project leader, full professor and dean from University of Belgrade Faculty of Architecture, comes from the Department of Urbanism, as well as Professor Jelena Živković, Professor Milica Milojević, and young researchers, teaching assistants Aleksandra Đorđević and Vladan Pešić. Then we have Professors Ana Radivojević, Nataša Ćuković-Ignjatović from the Department of Architectural Technologies, and young researchers Bojana Zeković and Nevena Lukić from the same department. From the Department of Architecture, we have in team Professor Ana Nikezić, who is also the scientific coordinator of the project, young researchers Aleksandra Milovanović, Tamara Popović, and myself. Team members also have a long-term cooperation on other national and international projects, so this is an already well-coordinated and efficient team. Thank you for the attention. This was a very short presentation about the University of Belgrade Faculty of Architecture. Now we will meet the University of Venezia. Enrico Anguillari from University of Venezia will present this institution. Professor Anguillari, please, this virtual floor is yours.
Hello to all. Oh.
Can we see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
I think it is not possible. We will start the presentation. Yes. No.
Can you share the screen? Sorry.
Can you share the screen?
Yes, I'm trying to do it. No, there is some problems.
If it is okay for you, we can share the screen.
Yeah.
Thank you. So just please let us know when to change the slides.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, next one, please. Everybody to all, I'm Enrico Anguillari from the Iuav University of Venice. The Venice University was established in 1926 as one of the first architecture schools in Italy. To this day, it still maintains its unique status. It is a design-termed university focusing on the teaching, research, and practice in the design of living spaces and environments, and in the design of everyday use objects, fashion, and of graphics. It has a more recent but well-established tradition in the teaching, research, and practice of visual arts, theater, and performing arts, and multimedia events. Next, please. Syllabuses, courses, and learning and workshop activities are organized in 4 bachelor's degrees and 6 master's degrees covering the fields of architecture, design, fashion, visual arts, urban and regional planning, and theater. In addition to a huge number of postgraduate specialization programs, advanced specialization courses, and 1 school of research doctorates. Iuav, it is attended by about 4,000 students. International exchange programs are currently available in partnership with over 200 European universities, and they encourage students and staff mobility in order to raise awareness of a common European citizenship, exchange good practices, and share research. Iuav has also established cooperation and exchanges with 70 non-EU institutions and universities, and entered into over 30 agreements to boost students' mobility. Next one, please. Iuav teaching methods is based on knowledge exchange between those disciplines connected to design. A learning technique unique to Iuav is the workshop, which is meant to offer both learning opportunities and work experiences under the direct supervision of high-profile professionals and technicians. Next one. In this context, for more than 20 years, every year for 3 weeks in June and July, Iuav turns into a big open campus, thanks to the WAVE international workshops that see the participation of over 100 teachers, professors, and assistants, and 2,000 students enroll in undergraduate courses. Next one, please. Concerning architecture studies, Iuav offers 1 undergraduate degree program and 2 different graduate degree programs. The master degree program in architecture is divided in 3 specific thematic paths focused on conservation, sustainability, and interior, while the second one, started in 2019 and entirely taught in English, is focused on the conservation and transformation of different architectural and urban contexts, with special attention to environment, economic, and social sustainability. Next one, please. Moreover, Iuav offers advanced courses for graduates and professionals. The various postgraduate programs are divided in 3 branches that vary accordingly to the degree you achieve. Next one, please. Among them, the Specialization School in Architectural and Landscape Heritage is a 2-year postgraduate program aimed to form highly qualified specialists in the field of restoration, protection, and knowledge of architectural heritage and landscape. Next one, please. Constituted in 2007, the School of Doctorate Studies is a multidisciplinary research institution offering 10 different PhD programs in architecture, city, and design. It brings together a community of 125 tenured professors, 100 experts from outside the university, and more than 200 PhD candidates, all of whom are actively engaged in research. Every year, some places are reserved for foreign candidates who are holders of scholarships granted by foreign universities, institutions, or international mobility programs. Next one, please. Next, please. Finally, I would like to present our team members involved in the HERSUS project. Emanuela Sorbo is Associate Professor in Architectural Restoration, as well our Scientific Coordinator. Sofia Tonello is currently a postgraduate student at the Specialization School in Architecture and Landscape Heritage, as well as our HERSUS researcher at the moment. Irene Sgarro is a graphic designer and web developer. You have a research scholar and teaching assistant at the Communication Design Lab. In HERSUS project, she will develop the sharing platform. Maria Gatto is the head of International Relation Office of our university, and she will manage all the administrative issues related to HERSUS project. And finally, I'm Enrico Anguillari, the project manager, the HERSUS project manager for our institution. Next one, please. Here you can find some more links to our institution, where you can find more information. And thank you for your attention. Next one, please. And greetings from Venice.
Thank you very much. Before we hear the following presentation, I would also like to emphasize that participants can ask questions within the field question and answers in the webinar. The next presentation is by University of Cyprus, Professor Panayiota Pyla, Vice Dean of Graduate School of University of Cyprus and coordinator of the graduate program of the Department of Architecture, will introduce this institution. Professor Pyla, please.
Hello, nice to be joining you. I am trying to find
There is a button, share screen, on the bottom of your screen.
For some reason, I had my screen, but now I can't. Let me try once more. No. Would you like to do it for me as well then? Because I can't seem to be able to upload it right now. Thank you. I don't know what must be. Okay, thanks. We'll do it this way then. Yes, we can. I'm going to present to you what we do at the Department of Architecture at the University of Cyprus. Our department is part of the School of Engineering. Can go to the next, which is basically the School of Engineering has the Department of Civil and Environmental, Electrical and Computer, Mechanical and Manufacturing, and the Department of Architecture. We do have overlaps and collaborations within this School of Engineering and also outside the school with other departments, and this will be explained soon. Let's go to the next. The Architecture Department has a total of 11 faculty members. We have an undergraduate program of 25 to 30 students each year. We offer a diploma after we offer a diploma in architecture and also a Master of Engineering and a Master of Science in Engineering. That's a small program so far, but we are planning to enlarge it with new areas of masters, and a PhD program of 30 or so students. What you see on the right is part of the campus of the University of Engineering, of the University of Cyprus, but our own department is located elsewhere. Can we go to the next, please? Our Department of Architecture is located in the center of the city of Nicosia, within the walls, within the medieval walls that you see at the bottom of the slide, pretty much at the center of the circle that you are looking at. So it's in the midst of the urban heart of the city. And we consider that to be part of the educational experience of our students, and particularly for this Erasmus Plus, we should highlight that they are in the midst of the historic city of Nicosia, the students, and so they have a daily sort of friction with matters of history and conservation. We can, what you see on the slide is just some brief mention of the structure of the program. It's a 4-year program with an additional year for the diploma. And you see the ECTS. And as far as our master's programs, right now there are 2. One is in collaboration with other departments within the School of Engineering, which is the MSc in Energy Technologies and Sustainable Design. And then there's another master's being offered in collaboration with the Department of History and the Department of Civil Engineering, which is in Architectural Conservation. Both of these programs are vibrant and active right now, and we are within the department. We are planning to have additional masters in the following years. Next, let's go to the next. The research, the UCY is a research institution putting great emphasis on advancing, each faculty advancing their research along with the teaching. Within our department, we have several labs that are supporting the research of faculty. They were initiated by individual faculty, but in the process of the years, we are finding synergies and collaborations between us. I will just mention those laboratories and research directions that are sort of pertinent to the HERSUS topics. One is a lab on vernacular architecture. and you'll see more details about it soon. Another is the MESARC lab, which is focusing on the history and theory of modern architecture. The other is the energy and environmental design of buildings lab. And the other is the digital design and fabrication lab. These labs are represented in the HERSUS team with the faculty that is running them. And I'll explain that soon. Let's go to the next. The Vernac lab focuses on the vernacular architecture of Cyprus, which is quite rich and multifaceted because of the complex history of Cyprus and the multiple ethnic voices that exist within Cyprus. The vernacular architecture of this small island is quite rich, much more sort of significant than the size of the island. There's many cultural sort of preferences represented in built form, in the built form of the vernacular architecture of the island. So this lab has done a lot of work in recording this complexity and these multiple layers of voices that are expressed in vernacular architecture. And it has taken great steps in researching these, researching the history and also the environmental sort of wisdom and significance of these kind of vernacular buildings. It also, I mean, so you see some of the key topics, you see them represented in the slide with A, B, C, D, social and economic protection, their protection status within the legislation. B, I already mentioned the environmental comfort and bioclimatic situations, and the relationship of these vernacular buildings to the urban fabric. Are aspects that are examined in this lab. Let's go to the next. The Fab Lab is run by, I forgot to mention that the previous lab that I mentioned is run by the colleague Maria Philokyprou, who is the leader of the HERSUS team here at UCOI, and whom you will be hearing soon in another presentation. So I will let her, she will discuss more about her lab and its and what it's doing. The Fab Lab is run by another member of the HERSUS team, Odysseas Kondovourkis, and it also has the collaboration of other faculty. The lab has state-of-the-art equipment that is allowing students to incorporate these issues of fabrication even within the teaching, the regular studios and the teaching of the department. Let's go to the next. The Energy and Environmental Design of Buildings Research Lab is also one of the strong labs of the departments, with many students doing simulations and research that relates, some of it relates to vernacular buildings, and some of it relates to vernacular and historic buildings, and some of it relates to contemporary buildings. And so there is this is another lab that allows for a lot of conversations among the faculty of the department and the students, some of whom engage in research that relates to these HERSUS discussions, and some others are taking this lab research to other directions that also inform contemporary design. Let's go to the next. The MESARC lab is a lab focusing on the history and theory of modern architecture in the Mediterranean. I am running this one, It's driven by archival research on modern buildings, archival and field research that examines modern buildings in their history, in their relationship to ethnic conflicts and social conflicts within the island. But we are also looking at issues of environmental design and also environmental conflict, how resources are utilized, how land is how land is used or abused, and how resources are sometimes became part of social conflict and contestations within the island. And we are looking at all of that, historical and sort of anthropological and sociological questions within the context of the history of buildings. So the lab, even though focused on issues of history, it does have many synergies with the labs I mentioned earlier, and the faculty has some collaborations across these topics. Let's go to the next. The labs are only one aspect of the research being done here. Another one that is of course interconnected with the activities of the laboratories is the various research grants that we have been receiving as various faculty of the department have been receiving. I'm mentioning here three. The one is an Erasmus Marie Curie grant that deals with housing. Another is a lab that is a research grant that deals with issues of smart rehabilitation. There's also a couple of Interreg grants that deal with reappropriation and reuse of buildings in terms of environmental design and environmental sensitivity. These are the kinds of grants that give that support our labs and also give energy to the overall teaching of the department. Let's go to the next. And here I just wanted to introduce the members of the team that are joining the HERSUS project. The leader of the team is Maria Philokyprou, whom again you will be listening from soon within this web seminar. Emilios Michail is is a faculty member also at the University of Cyprus, who is running several of the grants that I mentioned. Andreas Savidis is also the chair of our department and collaborating with Maria and Emilios for several grants. I am Panayiota Pyla. Odysseas Kontovourkis is also a faculty member in the department who is running the Fab Lab and collaborates in the teaching in several aspects of the teaching we are doing at the HERSUS project. Stavroula Thravallou is an adjunct lecturer. She's a graduate of she's finishing her dissertation at our department, and adjunct lecturer, and has helped with various aspects of the Vernark lab. And the people who are really the main sort of pillars of support for this HERSUS project, and who have supported the intellectual the production of much of the research for this project and the intellectual output that you will see presented soon, are Maria Nodaraki, who is a researcher, a full-time researcher on this project, and Theodora Hagipetru, who is also working full-time on this project and sort of has helped out in shaping much of the work you will see presented later on by my colleague Maria Philokypou. I think this is it for me. I'm a couple of minutes late, but I hope this has helped. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Professor Pyla. It is our pleasure to meet our next partner, Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. Professor Paka, head of School of Architecture of Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, will present this institution.
Good morning, everybody.
Thank
you for the invitation. We're very pleased to meet our partners. So let me share my screen and present the school. Wait a second. I have opened my presentation, but wait a second. Why is not...
Should I try and do it, Alkmini?
Sorry?
Should I try and do it?
No, yesterday I was doing it fine, but I don't know what's happening now.
Let me see.
Okay, will you do this then?
Yep. You
Okay.
can see my screen.
Why is it blocking this screen sharing? There is a, I don't know.
Can you see my screen now?
Of course I do.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. So my name is Alkmini Paka, and I will presenting the School of Architecture from the Faculty of Engineering of the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. Next, please.
I'm trying.
Okay. Aristotle University of Thessaloniki is an internationally recognized university institution and the largest academic institution in Greece. It is located right in the center of Thessaloniki in the historic center, and it was founded in 1927, having a mission to provide the highest level of education in an environmentally friendly and accessible to all campus, but also with the aim of producing internationally recognizable research contributing to the country's economic and social development. Can I have the next, please? Well, the School of Architecture is integrated in the Faculty of Engineering. Since its establishment in 1957, the school has celebrated 60 years of academic presence in 2017. It is a major progressive academic institution, and since its foundation, it has adopted an extrovert attitude and a pluralistic approach to architectural design. It has 1,450 students and around 44 faculty teaching staff members, out of which 25 are tenured professors, and 20 plus are assistants working in the school. So the goal of the school is to educate architects that are capable of coping with the increasingly demanding and competitive professional conditions of the actual globalized context, both in Greece and abroad. So in this ever-changing context, architectural design should respond to challenges in regard to environmental crisis, social inequality, new urban conditions, and confronting local and global patterns and forms of built space. Furthermore, revising the social and historic actual context is mostly critical and forms a core theme of the school's curriculum. So the primary mission of the School of Architecture at the Aristotle University is to provide an architectural education that is reflective of the role of architecture in the manifestation of our culture in space, responsive to the request for a profile of the architect able to adequately cope with the needs and expectations of society, and creatively, critically, and efficiently adaptive to the continuous development of architectural thinking and creative. So the curriculum of the school addresses all levels of scale in design practice, from regional and urban planning to landscape design, architecture, interior and industrial design, to building technology, conservation of buildings and sites. The program is structured in the form of 5 years curriculum, so leading to the title of Integrated Masters of Architecture. The themes are introduced basically through design studio courses, which form the core of the school's curriculum, giving 21 of the 30 CTS of each semester's program. And there are some diagonals in the school's curriculum introducing the different themes and topics of research, like environmental design, restoration and conservation of buildings and monuments, urban design, architecture design, that are introduced in small seminars and small design studio courses that the next year are being broadened through major design studios of 15 ECTS every semester. So apart from this undergraduate integrated master's program, we have postgraduate studies provided by the school that comprise 5 master programs offering specialization in 5 respective fields of architectural practice. There are 2 interdepartmental programs, landscape architecture and in preservation, restoration of cultural monuments. Both these postgraduate programs were the first on these topics offered in Greek universities. Landscape, the master's program of landscape architecture has been offered since almost 15 years, and the program concerning preservation, the restoration of cultural monuments has already 20 years of operation, with its graduates being employed in many cultural institutions and services concerning protection of monuments and state efforts of antiquities. We have 1 inter-university program in museology and 2 architectural design programs also, that of environmental architecture and urban design and that of advanced computational design. which is also the first established in Greece on digital design. So for the coordination and organization of the master's program, the school is taking, of course, advantage of the expertise of other departments within the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, as well as other universities in Greece and abroad, promoting synergies and interdisciplinary research. The school is also providing a PhD curriculum, supervising currently a large number of PhD students, more than 100. The school has a very live and active program of extracurricular activities, with many having organized many exhibitions, workshops, symposia, and public lectures. It is also a hub of research running European funded research programs and national run research projects as well. So let's go to our team. So our HERSUS team is the team leader of the architecture of Aristotle University's assistant professor Konstantinos Akadamis. Also Kleoniki Exerli, who is emeritus professor of sustainable design, working also and collaborating with us in the postgraduate program of environmental architecture and urban design. Maria Dusi, associate professor, and also an active faculty member of the postgraduate program for restoration and conservation of buildings and sites. Together with us, we have Angeliki Hadjidimitriou, who is a postdoc researcher and a teaching assistant, specializing also in environmental design, and Sophocles Kotsopoulos, a PhD teaching assistant, working also at the for the undergraduate program and the postgraduate program of restoration, teaching history of architecture and management of historic monuments and sites. Finally, me. I'm the head of the school. I'm associate professor, and I'm teaching environmental design and museum design. And I have also, I'm working for the postgraduate program of environmental architecture and urban design. So thank you for your attention.
Presentation. What? It's okay. The final presentation within this session will be held by our partners from Seville. Professor Mar Loren, scientific coordinator and project manager, and also UNESCO Chairholder, will present this institution. Professor Mar Loren is here.
I wonder if everyone can see my
hear you.
screen. Good morning. I wonder if everyone can hear me and can see my screen right now. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. At last, we got it. So thank you very much. Good morning, you all, professors and students from both HERSUS Academic Partnership in Serbia, Italy, Cyprus, and Greece, and from our extended academic and institutional network, Hello to all participants, students, panelists, etc. Welcome. It is a pleasure for our team of Seville University and the UNESCO Chair CREhAR to share the discussion in the context of our first HERSUS seminar with you. I want to especially congratulate the University of Belgrade for the coordination of the event, and thanks Ivanka Popovic, the director, for the warm welcoming, and also to our project leader, Jokic, also for the detailing presentation of our project. Also, well, finding all the connections throughout all the presentation of the last part of the other partners, really interesting. A lot of things we are connected through, a lot of things to discuss and share. Here we are sharing the screens, talking through microphones, and in this present breakthrough of our way of interacting when we have to abandon our classes and campuses, HERSUS project, committed with students and educators, makes us put the community in the center and dreams of a space full of people connected through the emotion of learning how to integrate sustainability and heritage of our built environment as a core element in our training as architects. So with this in mind, let us present our academic framework for HERSUS. Seville University is located in Andalusia, the southern region of Spain, in a historical ecotonic space where Europe, Africa, the western region of the Arab world, the Maghreb, the Mediterranean, and the Atlantic meet, producing a complex built environment. In the 20th century, and after 40 years of dictatorship, Andalusia became one of the 19 autonomous regions and cities in Spain, with 19 governments, the city of Seville becoming the capital of the Andalusian autonomous government. In this geostrategic redefinition of a decentralized country, Andalusia focused on its cultural heritage, its reuse for the government spaces, its protection and conservation, but also its constant updating as an identified feature for even our Andalusian character. So urban cultural heritage become the gate, the entrance, the main entrance for the contemporary definition of Andalusia, but also to reach a more polyphacetic, polyedric concept of sustainability. So when introducing the University of Seville, we want to point out its urban character. Also, our partner of Cyprus and our partner of Greece pointed out that urban character of our universities, which is representative of Andalusia as a network of intermediate cities. When we think of Andalusia, we always tend to think of a rural or agrarian landscape, but it's really a landscape, an urban landscape, interconnected through the intermediate cities. The university is a city within a city, then, with 5 campuses. It was founded in the 16th century, and it is already 5 centuries old. It is the second largest university in Spain, the first in Andalusia, with more than 70,000 students and 7,000 faculty members. We have 27 faculties and schools with 133 departments. And as other members of the network, the HERSUS network, emphasize, international engagement is part of our tradition. With 4,000 international students, 50% out of the 97 master degrees of the university are international. With more than 7,000 agreements with private and public institutions, Seville University intensively promote networking and international employability, as we can already see through this HERSUS project. Regarding our School of Architecture, it was the third founded school in Spain after Madrid in the 18th century, Barcelona in the 19th century, and Seville was the first founded in the 20th century. It integrates expert knowledge and a historical commitment with education and research on heritage and sustainability. Only a general bullet points to say that we want to emphasize that really heritage and sustainability constitute a transversal topic and competence which is present all the way through in our undergraduate program on architecture, as we will see in the method seminar afterwards. The school, together with this transversality, the school also comes with experience in monographic training in the field of heritage and sustainability. Among the different and diverse masters we offer, we want to point out two of them. One is the Master of Architecture and Historical Heritage, with more than 25 years of existence, and a Master of Sustainable Architecture and Cities. And together with that, we also offer monographic courses from the different departments within or in the context of the undergraduate program. It also promotes a constant dialogue and collaboration with our institutions, such as Andalusia Institute of Historic Heritage, that is a public institution internationally recognized. Association, professional practitioners, experts, etc., national, internationally, are also in constant collaboration with the school. The UNESCO CREhAR is the framework of HERSUS in the University of Seville. This tradition and international expertise I have already shared with you explain the emergence and establishment of the UNESCO Chair on Built Urban Heritage in the digital area CREhAR. CREhAR stands for Creative Research and Education on Heritage Assessment and Regeneration. As the main topic, the chair focuses on these categories of heritage that are more modest or vulnerable due to their low protection and appreciation by society and institutions, and therefore at risk of disappearance. We also saw that we have that in common among our partners at HERSUS. Specifically, it is the first UNESCO chair focused on modern heritage, that is to say architecture, city, and landscape of the 19th and 20th century. With an approach to cooperation, we want to emphasize a symmetric intercultural dialogue, guided by the updated heritage studies, which means being profoundly interdisciplinary and multi-scale in the way we approach heritage and sustainability, and committed with equality of women and men in access to research and education on heritage. In this approach, we defend also cultural diversity as a critical factor of sustainable development. Finally, from the processes and strategies, we focus on methodologies, understanding that creative strategies are essential and compatible with rigor. I think that in this point, HERSUS project is making a real effort on working very hard on methodologies. Our trajectory in the necessary dialogue with new technologies insists on a conceptual scope and not only instrumental use of technology. Although there have been improvements in the incorporation of this more invisible heritage in higher education and research, there is still a long way to go with these more modest categories of heritage. HERSUS project and the Cross Europe higher education system is indeed the perfect scenario to share knowledge and innovative research and transfer in the field. And finally, let me present our team. HERSUS US team is integrated by seniors, intermediate, and juniors on teaching and researching in the spirit proposed by HERSUS. In alphabetical order and from left to right and from up to bottom, let me introduce you to Roberto Alonso Jimenez, architect, PhD student, honorary assistant at the School of Architecture, working on the dialogue of heritage and new technologies. Maria Alvarez de los Corrales, architect, honorary assistant at the School of Architecture, was granted a research internship to work on modern heritage in the framework of the chair. Maria Carrascal, PhD architect, research fellow at the Department of Urban and Regional Planning. She works on the field of creative urban landscapes, particularly focusing on the relationship between local artistic communities, creative industries, and contemporary urban heritage. Maria Garcia Casasola, also PhD architect. She combines teaching at the School of Architecture with her expert work at the Andalusian Institute of Historical Heritage as the head of its project department for buildings, works, and infrastructure. She's leading interdisciplinary working teams and developing diagnosis value reports and intervention projects in immovable assets of the Andalusian historical heritage. Enrico Larive is PhD architect, and he also combines teaching architectural history and theory at the school with his professional practice. His research focuses on a creative approach to heritage, incorporating new technologies and citizen participation. He's also co-founder of the Industrial Heritage Laboratory. Myself, Loren-Méndez, PhD architect and full professor. I'm the Chairholder of the UNESCO CREhAR and director of the research group Contemporary City Architecture and Heritage. And my research focuses on modern heritage, heritage characterization of Mediterranean and coastal touristic transformation, and cross-cultural heritage studies, Europe-America. Jose Peral, PhD architect, teaches cultural landscapes, heritage, and architectonic restoration with a research focus on education and heritage. He's a member of the National Committee ICOMOS in Spain, belonging to its Committee of Heritage and Education. He also worked for private institutions, leading its conservation heritage programs. Daniel Pinzón Ayala, PhD architect and guest professor at Seville University, secretary of the research group Contemporary City Architecture and Heritage. He focuses on the characterization of the modern heritage, such as contemporary Andalusian heritage. Finally, Julia Rey, PhD architect, associate professor. Her research focuses on heritage and culture in the sustainable development of cities and works on the design of sustainable urban strategies into local policies. She has collaborated with different municipalities in the implementation of the recommendation of the historic urban landscape. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Loren, and thanks again to Professor Ivanka Popović, our rector, and all other presenters in this session. This was